My name is Amelie. I am 6 years old. I go to the Episcopal School of Acadiana. I'll be going to first grade, and I just finished kindergarten. I was inspired by Martin Luther King, and he inspired me because he said something, and he did it. And I saw trash on the way to school one day, and I wanted to clean it up, and then I told Miss Sandy, my teacher, can we start a project? And it took a few days, and then we got it started. And then we wrote a letter to Joey Durrell. I wasn't sure if a 6-year-old could help, and I wrote a letter to him, and he responded, and he said yes. I had a chapel, and Miss Catherine came to see the chapel, and I told my friends, you should never throw something on the ground. You should always pick it up, and if you accidentally do it, you should still pick it up. Don't make other people clean up your trash for you. You should clean up your own trash. I had a meeting after my chapel, and we were talking about my field trips. And I wanted to bring the whole class with me, but I couldn't. So I decided to make a video of me going on a field trip so they can see, so they can feel like they're on the boat ride with me.
Step up right here, baby. There you go now. You walk to Mr. Emile, he's going to help you on the boat.
Think you can make it? All right.
The city looks totally different from the bayou, doesn't it?
It's cool too.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
On the first day of my field trip, we went on a big boat. I forgot what it's called, but it's really big and it can go fast. I got to pick up trash it's called a trash trap, and it's yellow and it's a big square. Mr. Emile, who was the driver, he talked to me about how the trash trap worked. And it worked like it's only on the surface of the water. It's not on the bottom of the water, so fish can swim under it. And alligators can choose. They can swim under it, or they can go over it or around it, or they can just swim behind it. I saw lots of trash on banks of the river. There was stuff in the trap that there was so much trash I couldn't even count how much trash there was.
So Miss Amelie, see this bottle right here? It's pretty clean, right? But what about all those bottles that you guys just finished picking up out of the trash boom, the trash trap? They're very dirty. So all those bottles that are in that barrel right there, they're so dirty that we can't do anything with them but throw them into a landfill. This, however, is still clean enough to be recycled, and we could take that and recycle it down, make it into clothing, yeah, or lumber, or buttons for your clothes, right? So this plastic bottle is still able to be recycled. That is no good for anything but going and filling up a landfill. So the best thing that people can do is be very mindful after they finish with their drink containers to stick them into a recycle bin.
Miss Bess takes care of the Vermilion River. She picks trash up before it rains. Miss Bess educated me by telling me that storm drains are all connected. They lead to a very thick pipe which goes into the Vermilion.
So all of that stormwater, where does it end up? Right there, without going anywhere else, right? And then we had some grabbers, because when we cut all this down so we could see the pipe, there was trash and stuff. We'll show you the bag of trash that we picked up right there, just from that little spot where we got trash out of the Vermilion. What do fish need in the water to breathe? They need oxygen in the water, right? And so if all that junk and pollution gets down into the water, it makes it so the fish can't breathe real well. And then do other animals, what do birds sometimes eat? Fish, right. So if the fish can't breathe, and then the birds can't eat the fish, then it causes, so it's like it's a chain reaction kind of, the way that if the water's not good, then a lot of animals are affected by it. This is the Vermilion River, the one that's in pink, and this is the bottom of it, which empties into, what did you say?
The Vermilion Bay.
The Vermilion Bay, that's right, which then the Vermilion Bay leads to the Gulf of Mexico. So all of these other, like we call them coulees or ditches, are ending up into the Vermilion, and they bring with them sometimes pollution, which is what we're trying to find, and sometimes trash, and which we definitely want to get that out of there, right? Ready to put on the gloves because we're going to dig through some old trash that we found out there today while we were cleaning up this morning, and we can see what we found out there. And we don't want to get all that grubby stuff on our hands. So let's see. Ew. We used that little grabber out there right along the river, and let's see what we found in there. What do you see? Little wrapper. We had some in there. I was scared it was a frog. I was like, something's in there. And I think it was just full of water. Let's see, what else do we have? What is that, an old Ziploc bag?
A bunch of sticks.
Sticks. What else? Trash. Doritos bag. That was what I thought. They had a frog in it. Didn't want it to scare me. Look, what's that?
A can.
An old can.
Heavy.
Oh, heavy, gross. The bugs that we see in the trash, and that tells us that trash has been there a while, because all those bugs have made that their home. So we like to get that trash out of there. See, there's something else crawling around in there. But mostly we see a lot of floating styrofoam, because that doesn't disintegrate and that floats along in the water. So we see a lot of that. I think we had a styrofoam plate in there. What kind of trash did you pick up today when you were out?
I saw lots of styrofoam
Styrofoam,
stuff.
yeah, we see a lot of styrofoam
Mostly
cups. What about like
styrofoam.
Coke cans, Coke bottles, water bottles?
Yeah, we saw mostly.
We saw that. You know what the
water
weirdest thing? I've seen televisions in there. Yeah, floating televisions, balls, baby dolls, like little play kitchen sets, like, little pretend little kitchen sets floating along down the river. It's like, who did that? Well, exactly. My eyes did the same thing yours just did. Why? All the trash that we pulled out of that coulee gets down there through the storm drains, or people pour all kind of junk down there. In fact, that white stuff looks like somebody might put some paint down there. And so we want to let people know they don't put anything down the storm drain, not trash, not any old junk, because it gets into our river. And so we put these that say don't pollute, flows to waterways, and if you stick those on there, you can press it down hard to make sure it sticks. Then people who might come or blow grass or put something down there, maybe they'll think twice about doing it, and lets them know. And we can put those all over town to let people know, please don't pollute our water. We're sitting right here right now, and this is the coulee, and so this is the way the water is flowing to catch all that trash. But I also wanted to show you a bigger picture of where all that water is coming from. So we're right here. You want to help me hold the sheets down so they won't fly away, and we can look at it together? Here's where we are right now. That's where the trash trap is. And you see all of this water that's getting into there. So that's miles of water that's draining all these neighborhoods. This is where the football stadium is. And what do you think it picks up while it goes all along right there?
Trash.
Trash, right. But this is a good spot where we can collect it and get it out of there before it gets to the Vermilion River.
We drove up to a thing called a trash trap. Catches trash. It's only above the water. It's not below it. Whenever we got there, we saw lots of trash, like billions. I couldn't even count them. So much, probably infinity and beyond. There was a crane, and we had like this pretty big box, and it would filter out the water, which would only bring the trash in, and we would put it in a dumpster, and it would stay in the dumpster until they could get it to the landfill. And it was really cool. So I got to watch the whole thing. And and the crane would pick it up, and these guys were loading it, and then it would pick it up, and then somebody would hook it up to the other side, and then they would dump it, and then it would do it again and again. There was lots of styrofoam and a lot of plastic bottles and plastic cans and aluminum foil cans. So there was lots of stuff in there. There was so much I don't even think that I could count all of it because people have been littering so much. And like they have to clean it once a week. Certain things take different times to decompose, and some of them take a really long time and some of them take a short amount of time, and styrofoam never goes away. So it stays there forever. He has a lot of teeth.
Yeah, he has a lot of teeth and they're sharp, huh?
Really sharp. Especially the big ones.
Yep.
I think he might need to go to the dentist.
These are a couple of things we find in the rivers and bayous around here. We see a lot of alligators. You know, Louisiana is kind of famous for alligators, so we see a lot of alligators in the rivers and bayous, and they'll feed on just about anything. And then this is a snapping turtle, alligator snapping turtle, and there's quite a few of those around. And then there's other types of turtles that live in our waterways and on the land around here. But you'll find these in the rivers and the bayous around this area.
How does the trash affect the animals?
Trash affects wildlife in a lot of ways. You know, everybody thinks that you think about wildlife and you think about, well, they live in a pristine environment. They live out in the bayous and in the rivers and in the woods, and everything's clean. But it's really not that way at all, because people that throw trash in the water or on the ground, if you throw plastic will break down, and it'll break down into small pieces. And some animals that feed on the ground, like you have when waterfowl come down here, when ducks come down here, you have ducks that are dabbling ducks, and they just tip over and they kind of feed on the bottom. And when plastic or other trash breaks down and falls down to the bottom, if it breaks down into small pieces, those ducks will pick it up, and they'll end up in their gizzard, and it could affect their health. Any animal that's living in the water, if you throw trash in the water, a lot of animals can pick that up. Even fish, sometimes they'll find trash in a fish's stomach. And you know, we might think that, oh, it won't hurt the animals, but if everybody did it, then eventually it would hurt the animals and it would have an effect on them. So, you know, that's why we need to keep our waterways and our land clean.
Is there any way that I can help to make sure that animals don't get sick or hurt by trash?
Yeah, you can do a lot. First of all, and I know you probably don't do it, but you know, don't throw trash out of the window or of your vehicle, or even if you're hiking, if you take, you know, water bottles in, take them out with you, put them in a trash can, put them in a place where the trash can be disposed of properly. Don't throw any trash out on the ground or in the water. This is where we live. Let's try to keep it clean, so you can encourage your friends and try to teach other people, like you're doing, not to throw trash out.
I noticed on my field trip that if everybody helps, we can make the world a better place for animals and for human beings. I want other people to help me, and people should learn from this video to throw stuff in the garbage can and to make a big difference in our world.